Hi, I'm James McGuire here at Celosphere 25. We're talking about process mining and how process mining supports artificial intelligence in the enterprise, including agentic AI. To discuss that, I'm joined by Kerry Brown, Transformation Evangelist at Celonis. Kerry, thanks for talking with us, and I hope you can keep up with all the buzz of the show today.
It's been a really, really impressive morning. We had the Nobel Peace Prize winner, and that was a surprise.
That was a topper. It really was.
And it was very perspective granting on a lot of what we do, but really interesting when we think about freedom and choice and translating those messages to how do we think about working in our own businesses and organizations and being daring.
Right.
It was really inspiring.
And it ties into technology too, because they use technology to support all that. I think that really matters.
That was remarkable. All of the ability to reach to such a large portion of their population to influence the vote and influence the direction of their future was in the same ways you look back at the movie The Great Hack,
right,
and looking at Cambridge Analytica and how information can be used to drive big data. It was interesting to hear how they've really reached so many people with technology to create opportunity.
Right. Let's talk about process mining. I mean, it's a big idea with all sorts of moving parts. I mean, there's a digital twin, there's open standards. If you're talking to an enterprise executive and you want to explain to that individual what's the real world value of process mining, what would you say, and specifically, how does it tie into artificial intelligence?
It's interesting. I had this discussion this weekend with friends who don't do what we do.
Sure,
So how do you explain it to normal humans?
It may be a foreign language to them.
And I look at it in terms of when you think about, we often use the subway analogy visually, and you think about, I was talking to somebody yesterday, you think about if I own the east-west line on the subway and you own the north-south line and somebody else owns the actual station, all of those stakeholders have a different vested interest in understanding at a megascope or a specific scope on what's happening.
Right.
And the metrics on what they need and the decisions that they're going to make on how to be most successful with the scope of their responsibility change and vary. So if I'm the enterprise CEO and I'm looking across the intersections of the entire map, what it's giving you is the ability to step back and have that 10,000 foot view or 30,000 foot view, or drill down to that 10 foot view or 30 foot view. And so when you look at decisions around AI, you look at decisions around process improvement, reorganization, and anything you're trying to decide upon, that digital twin is giving you a visualization at whatever level of granularity that you want to be able to make informed decisions that are really transparent and data-driven.
Well, what about measuring the real-world value in terms of metrics or KPIs? I mean, what are the actual KPIs you can use, whether it's sustainability, efficiency, customer service? I mean, how do you actually literally measure the benefit of process mining and process intelligence?
Well, when you look at, you just talked about this morning at the keynote, and we had 11 of our champions have, I think it was $2 billion, lots and lots of savings.
Right.
There's real value back to that analogy of the north, south, east, west line or the station. If I look inside any organization at a plant, at a process level, taking out either useless work and removing it, or expediting work that has to happen, but you're reworking or revisiting, by virtue of being able to understand the cost of the work that's being done, the cost of the rework that's being done, the cost of the rework that's being eliminated, the opportunity of speed to market that is driving value. Is some of that's, like if you get to that, you're getting into the cost opportunity versus the cost savings. So the KPIs become either one of reducing costs very specifically by knowing time, cost of execution, removal of that work. And then that adds to, if you look at Pfizer was one of those companies we talked about, for them it's how much more quickly can they get to market with something that they can bring that helps save lives. So the opportunity is value on the benefit side, which isn't necessarily a KPI of dollars, but it's certainly a KPI of opportunity.
Right. Well, I think cost savings is certainly a KPI that people care about.
For sure.
Not about
right
that.
now,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think one of the big questions that enterprise executives wonder is, how can we verify trust and governance when there's an agentic AI bot moving through the enterprise, making decisions at the process level? I mean, that entity might be making some pretty big decisions, we're not sure, but how can we trust that entity and sleep at night?
Well, a couple of things. One, if I look at our content, back to transparency, you're able to get and drill down to every transaction at the specific transaction level. So in terms of transparency, you're looking not only at one system, but multiple systems. So you can see a full view with no mystery as to what's
in real
happening.
Time or
in
near,
real time.
Yeah, okay.
Real or near real time, depending on your priority.
Right.
So there's areas that we're real time, there's areas where we choose not to be real time based on the business priority for those processes.
Right.
But the trust and verifiability is in the fact that you can drill down all the way to each detail. And so, if you back to that pull out view to say, what decisions am I making? Am I making the right ones? Let's go all the way through. I'll give an example. Right now, I do a lot of work with organizations who are doing system transformation. They're doing a lot of not just looking at how to fix a line, but how to move an entire organization onto a different system.
Right.
Custom code is an area where a lot of organizations look to optimize and remove custom code, which is costly to maintain. We can show the revenue that flows through custom code and the customers it touches. So aside from you wrote it, you thought it was really important, this business owner thought it was really important,
Right.
and you're looking at emotional decisions on historical behavior, being able to see what revenue is flowing through that code and what customers it's impacting. You're addressing customer experience, you're addressing financial viability, and so that decision making becomes one of a factor-friendly approach rather than a what do I think, what do you think approach.
Right. I mean, you talked about monitoring the bot or the agentic AI. That can be done in real time. And of course, that sounds like a human might be involved with that. I assume there's a system where a human wouldn't need to be involved necessarily with governance?
So back to your question around governance, Mike. Thank you. The opportunity really here is by virtue of being able to choose where you automate or where a human and machine combine, really is sort of a continuum of crawl, walk, run. So you can start off by identification of opportunity. Typically what we see with organizations is they're looking at what's the opportunity validation, then trialing, doing an automation around that space and verifying against that. And then as you move forward, we're getting into more agentic AI where that work is happening without necessarily a person being involved.
Sure.
But you've moved along that crawl, walk, run where the confidence level and it proves
has
out the
built out over
governance.
time, you're saying.
Yeah, proves out the governance that people who aren't necessarily familiar with or used to seeing that happen want to know, am I comfortable with a write back? Am I comfortable with an agentic AI functioning on its own or not? Start with identification of what will it do, and it's not running around doing things you can't see.
Okay.
It's saying, hey, I'd like to do this. Do you want me to do that? Yes. Okay. And then automate. So as you get more confidence, you can move further through to the automation place that doesn't require the human intervention, and then the efficiency and the speed and the cost all speak to that as well.
Okay. There's something really interesting about your approach, Kerry, that I know you emphasize empathy and storytelling in the digital age, which is kind of unusual. Sometimes the idea of empathy gets left behind a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, we live in a very fast-paced world. We've got our KPIs. So
Yep.
talk to me about empathy. How does that work for you? Why does that matter in our businesses or in our lives?
Well, I'll go back to the keynote. If Vinmar was speaking, so Vishal from Vinmar spoke,
Sure.
He was speaking about culture, and he was talking about their organization and introducing AI. And he said, we want this to happen. And he said, our message to our organization is, we are going to continue to innovate, and we are going to make changes, but we want it to be something that our people want. So
Yes.
at the end of the day, when you look at people process technology in any organization, nobody wants to waste time. Like none of us like to do things that are useless.
Right.
We like to do things that are useful. But being able to connect with people in a way that they don't feel threatened, that they have shared ownership, that they understand what's happening, that their creativity and their ideas are included in deciding where you go, means that AI becomes that intern and that helpful piece versus a combative competitor to you who's going to take your job. Will aspects of jobs go away? Yes.
Right.
Will all jobs go away? No.
Right.
And finding that storytelling of who's affected, how's it happening, being empathetic to the fact that people are scared, unsure, don't have trust yet, don't have confidence yet. How do you build that trust and confidence that the adoption and the resistance, that marriage balances out, but also that mystery in terms of understanding, will it work, won't it work? You're building that confidence, and then people are going to look at how do you do more of it versus complaining about it, challenging it, working around it,
Right.
making it fail. So to me, the piece of that makes everyone find a place where they fit in, and where the gifts that they bring are still really meaningful.
I think it is important for management to acknowledge that AI might cause some concern and some worry among the staff. It just
sure.
will be. I mean, it's a great help, maybe, but there's some worry there too. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, let's look to the future, because I think executives want to know where things are going. So, if you think, near midterm future, where is AI and process mining going together? Is it going to evolve into something called enterprise process orchestration, or what is the combination going to mean in the years ahead?
I think if you look at the journey we've taken from process mining to process intelligence, to there's no AI without PI.
Right.
You look
Which
at
means
all the
what,
messaging.
by the way?
Thank you.
Yes.
There's no AI, no artificial intelligence,
Yes.
without PI, process intelligence. So you can't make great decisions on where to apply artificial intelligence without good process intelligence. Otherwise, you're just shooting into the dark.
Can I put that in another language, maybe?
Please.
There's no way to really optimize artificial intelligence without knowing the way your business really works at the process level.
100%.
Okay, I
100%.
understand this. Okay, good.
Yep,
Makes
you got it.
perfect
Yes,
sense. Okay,
the
good.
paraphrase is perfect.
Okay.
And so if I look at where it's headed, as I look across our customer base, we were just talking this morning, Florida Crystals now has 20 AI use cases with Celonis that they're going live with.
Okay.
If I think back to when we were first talking about AI and machine learning 7-10 years ago, you'd look for 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10. The use cases are in the single digits and double digits.
Right.
I expect we'll start to see that multiplying into the hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands of examples. So,
Right.
If I look right now in the last year and a half, large Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 companies are still in the tens to hundreds of really meaningful AI use cases, and the multiplier effect will kick in. So to me, what I think we'll see is that, to your paraphrase of, if I know my processes, I can have trust and confidence that governance is going to give me opportunities for where to do more. I'm going to do one, I'm going to test it, I'm going to build confidence. Then doing 3, 5, 7, 9, 50, 100 are built on that confidence and governance and trust that people inside the organization can trust, people who lead the organization can trust, their customers can trust, and then they can get the benefits they're looking for.
I'm astounded by the MIT study that said, I think 95% are not. It's like, I guess it's just a question of we are in very early days and people are still trying to figure it out. I don't really take that as oh gosh, it has failed. It just means we're still learning.
I absolutely think that's true, and I think it's also the case that in the absence of knowing your processes and knowing where to apply it, it may or may not have the stick factor, the stick-to-itiveness.
You're tying it back to part of the process.
It is,
yeah.
really. I think everyone's really excited. I think rightfully so. We've all got personal anecdotes of what we can do, and places we've played with it. But making that scalable inside an organization that isn't distraction and isn't distressing for the people who don't know what to do with it. Really, I think the magic balance is where governance and trust meet with opportunity, so that employees are looking for opportunities, the business knows it's going to work, and everyone's looking for how to apply it based on a fact set provided by processes, versus leadership wants improvements, employees feel threatened, nobody exactly knows where to put it.
Right.
That's a recipe for a bit of mess and a bit of noise.
Yes.
And if you can take that noise out, everyone can play better together.
Great. Kerry, I think you said it. A lot of interesting stuff. I hope we talk again sometime.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.